Okay, I think I'm ready to do this. Boop. How's it going, guys? Angus here from Maker's Muse. This is all brand new. Welcome. I hope it works. I will be monitoring the chat as we go. Welcome to Maker's Muse Live. I've been spending a lot of time setting things up to bring you a better streaming experience, and it's been a complete nightmare. But here we are. I'm in the workshop. I've got a whole new setup, a whole new computer with a whole new system. I'm trying to monitor the chat, but I've got it on my phone here because the screen's a bit hard to see over there. We've got Teresa, Obed, Flying Junkies, TD Dukes, 3D Printing Kid, Lucky Benny, Cat 3D, Hawk 3D Proto. What's up, guys? Nice to see you. Native Exception, is that the music from Geometry Dash? Nope. It's probably similar, but I make my own music for the channel because it helps me avoid copyright issues and stuff like that. Oh dear, so it's been a bit of a mission. I started it up this morning and it decided to do a Windows update, and you know how that usually goes in Windows 10, usually it breaks everything. So the mic is on a super high gain. I do apologize if it's too loud for headphone users. Everyone always says the mic's too quiet, so I just bumped it way up. Everyone's saying it looks and sounds good. Excellent. I hope the audio is in sync for the period of this stream. We'll see. But we're here today to check out the CRX. Now, this is the Creality Ender 3. Teresa, what the heck? Oh my god. Thank you so much. I'm not sure why it's not saying anything. It should be talking, but thank you. Now I'm going to have a see if I can see it. Sorry, thank you. I do have the door open, so you might hear some cars and such like that. Oh god. Classic Angus. Classic stream. Can't even see it. People are saying the mic is synced. Good. So Teresa said extra ass for 300k, and yes, I did have to do that because I can. You deserve it because you make quality content in my language. Thank you, Teresa. I really do appreciate it. You didn't have to do that. I really do appreciate the support, though. A lot of effort goes into doing these streams. It's absolutely crazy. It should be talking, but it didn't. I'm not sure what's going on there. It might be because the desktop audio's... Okay, let me just do a test for you guys. 1 second. Professional streamer.
This is a test donation for $1.
Alright, let me know if that was too loud or too quiet. So, thank you so much, guys, for the congratulations on the 300k. Holy crap, I don't know how that happened. I made a video about these rolling things that really interests me, and I did that a week ago, and it kind of got some traction. And I sort of saw that it got picked up by a few people, and then this weekend it just went nuts. It's still going nuts. So if you're coming over here from the main Maker's Muse channel, you've just subscribed, welcome. My name is Angus. I aim to empower your creativity with 3D printing, and it's been an absolute whirlwind. Too low and echoey. Yeah, okay. In that case, I can't hear it, or you can hear it. If I have the speaker on, then yeah, okay, fine. I'll just have to do it like that. Alright, never mind. Let me get to the main show. CRX, let's pull this bad boy up. Okay. So, this is the CRX. So, my experience with the Creality Ender 3 was mixed. A lot of you would have seen many reviews of the Ender 3. Let's be honest, there was a few quality control issues and a few batch issues. My machine wasn't the best, that's this one here, but a lot of other people had very good experiences. But this is a $200 3D printer. It's quite cheap, and it's forgivable, but this is very different. And thank you so much for subscribing, guys. I really do appreciate it. But this machine is, I think, I said yes to it because Creality are really trying to do something different here. It's a dual extruder, single nozzle, massive printer with high quality parts, and Uh, that's speaking.
Great to catch a live stream or yours. Congrats on the 300k subs. You were awesome and the sphericons were amazing.
I heard this pronounced sphericons properly. Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. It actually said sphericons properly, or sphericons. There you go. Where was I? CRX. So this is Creality's first crack at like a professional level machine, which is really encouraging from a Chinese printer manufacturer, in my opinion, because they're not going for the lowest of the lowest price point. And I'd made a recent video ranting about people making cheaper printers and then shipping poor quality parts and etc. I'm hoping this is a very fresh start and a new direction for the 3D printing community and Chinese manufacturers. So I'm going to give them my full support. I'm going to go into this completely blind. This box is unopened. You are seeing it here first. I have not tested it. I don't know how it works. I am hoping they haven't sent a machine with issues, because often they'll send the first version to influencers like myself with problems because they're brand new, 3D printed parts and such. I hope that's not the case. Go. Let's just get straight into it. Not to cut myself. Oh dear. Where's my stream chat? I can't see my own chat. Chat. There we go, guys. Hey, I've got JT, Laserman, Adventures in 3D Printing. JT, Angus, why do you hate China? Every time Naomi jumps in, she's like, why do you hate China? It's really funny. I love Naomi so much. She is a really, really positive, powerful community advocate for 3D printing and makers in general of all demographics. Absolutely amazing woman. We've got some filament. This is some red PLA. I'll just put it over here. Let me give you a top down. Oh, thank you, Kevin. That's a good question. Combat robot vids. I am planning, but I always say that every time someone asks, I am planning to do something, but there hasn't been a competition in Australia for some time. There was one which I couldn't make back in May. There might be one later in the end of the year. Like last year, there was one around September. So there might be another one around the same time. And I'm hoping to revive my machine, which is called Vanguard, to compete in that. But there's different weight classes. So Vanguard's a 13.6 kilo featherweight class, or 30 pounds. But there's little tiny ones called ant weights, which are like 1 pound, I think, or like 150 grams, whatever that translates to. I really want to make one on the channel just as a project. So yes, absolutely want to get back into it. Let me give you a top down, see how that looks. There you go. I can kind of see what's going on. Okay. So, to be the chief evangelist, the CRX 3D printer guidebook to make top quality 3D printer. So, as I said, this is a very different machine. It's got an enclosed base. Everything's in the base. It's still got rollers because Creality loves their rollers, but it's very different to pretty much anything they've ever produced, which is cool. I like to see these companies trying new things and innovating. Wow, it's bloody huge. Okay, so we've got some parts. I'll just stick this over here. And the question would be how to get it out of the box. More foam. Oh, so much foam. Adam, does this mean this machine might be cherry-picked? Quite possibly. Cherry-picking is a very real thing. It has happened to companies who review like graphics cards and CPUs. I'm not sure about this one though. I don't know if I can get it out on this table. I might have to put it down. So let's just go back to the main cam. Apparently you can do GIFs. Oh, thanks, Eddie. Really appreciate it. I don't know how this channel got to 300k, let's be real. I just like to play with toys. Yeah.
Hey guys, the new stream setup looks and sounds great. Thought I'd skip to further delay you opening the box. I also agree I'd like to see an end-to-end video.
Oh, thanks, Mitch. Yeah, I will. Okay, I will do it. I have these really crazy high-end filaments as well that I want to test out, like nylon and carbon fiber nylon and POM and polycarbonate blends, just all sorts of crazy stuff. Yeah. I need to print myself more time. Oh, right. So it's a classic Creality where it's flat packed, but it's a gantry design. I'm just not exactly sure how to get it out safely. The stream deck just unplugged itself. Excellent. Quality streaming. Think you can still hear me? Yes, you can. Alright. So is this a mixing hot end? I believe so. I don't know exactly what kind of hot end it is. If it's like the Purge version, or like one of those sort of diamond hot ends. I don't know. I think that's right. So I'm not exactly sure how it does it, but I guess we'll find out. Looks well crated, no broken parts on this one. Yes, they have put a lot of effort into the packaging for this one. There's even foam behind the lead screws, which is nice. So there we go. There we go. So that's our gantry. It's a pretty big printer. So much packaging. I already went to the tip to throw it away. You can't recycle it in Australia. Shocking. I know. Alright. Oh my god, it's huge. Oh my god. Okay. It's massive.
Salty balls are delicious. So are your videos.
Thanks, Lightspeed. Alright, I'm gonna have to pick this bad boy up. It is humongo. Right. And yes, it's the desk wobbling. It's not a very good desk. This is huge. This is massive. Oh my god. Oh dear. Did they mention pricing to you at all at Maker's Muse? Yes. It's looking to be around $800 US, which I know is a huge jump, and that's what I'm talking about in my video about ranting about the companies testing their printers on the customers. That's because it's cheaper and they can provide a cheaper price point. But if you're going to do in-house testing, it costs money, and I'm hoping that's what they've done to justify the price point. But this is different. This is in no way similar to that printer. It's nuts. I mean, this is all sheet metal. And not just cheap sheet metal. I mean, it's been welded at the front here. A little bit dusty, and there is a hole here on the side, which you might be able to see from the top-down camera. Here. It's a bit difficult to see, but it's been kind of ripped through with a hand drill. So this is definitely a very early version. This is not production. Which, I guess they had to get it out quickly, so that's how I got this so quickly. But yeah, I'm hoping it doesn't have any major issues because it's so early. Anyway, specs. You guys want specs? Let's find out. I believe it's 300 by 300 by 400 like the original CR10, but let's double check. Okay. Does it actually say in the list? Or it just has a general list of bits? Are those NEMA 23 steppers? Nope, they are standard NEMA 17s. Nothing unusual about that. Yeah, look, I'm just going to say 300, 300, 400. Someone else might be able to clarify that. It doesn't actually say in this book. There is an aluminium extrusion frame inside the bent steel box. Yes, there is. Which is, I'm not sure exactly why, but there is. All Creality machines have this like V-slot extrusion for rolling the bed and the other axes across, which is fine. There is injection molded parts here. Let me pop the camera down a little bit so you can see a little bit closer. We've got two metal extruder gears here with a Bowden style setup, and yeah, it's probably got a lot of borrowed parts from the CR10, let's be honest. But the main difference is this print surface, which is like a, it's like the ultra plate, whatever they call it, that the Anycubic printer has, and they call like a diamond hot release plate. I don't know. The JG Aurora A5 has it as well. It's like a glass plate with a coating, and when the plate's hot, parts stick to it really well. When the plate's cold, parts pop off. It works quite well, actually. Shivel's saying, hopefully some auto leveling will come. Yeah, I really hope so. There hasn't been any official auto leveling on a Creality printer that I know of as such yet. There is aftermarket bed leveling systems you can get for Creality printers, but nothing from the factory as yet. Anyway, so by the looks of it, this thing just mounts on the top here. There's the clip for the bed, so the bed can come off. Ultra base, that's the one. This is very early for me. Let me just show you the print surface, so I can show you nice and close. Pop these. These are kind of nasty, actually. Very sharp. Okay. Then I just, how do I, this way? Ugh, nasty. Alright, there you go. So this surface has these little perforation print on it. It's just glass though. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of glass print beds because you can't flex them to get parts off, but there we go. That's what we've got. Better than build tack. Stuck to aluminium, I'll be honest. Droop. Okay. Right, so I assume I need to use stuff in here. Where's my knife? Translucent. Yeah, the camera can't pick up the tiny little dots, but yeah, it's just glass. So transparent with the print on the surface. Samek, everything aside, Angus, please tell us about the thumb screws for the bed leveling. Yeah, so it's got these giant ass bed leveling screws. Actually, well, it should. It's missing one there. They're the same as the Ender 3. They're really big injection molded screws, wheels for leveling the bed. They sent me an Australian plug, which is nice. Got some crappy tools, general stuff.
Where's the pizza? What gives?
Last time I assembled the Ender 3, someone stream sniped us pizza. They will remain anonymous. Okay, bits and pieces. So we've got a bag of spare parts. Just whatever. USB stick with a micro SD. I mean, a printer this big with a micro SD card's a bit... How's your father? I'm not even oh, it goes in the side, right. Yeah, that's a bit iffy. I would have used a full-size SD card if I was Creality. Touchscreen, I believe it is a color touchscreen. I think that's indeed the truth. See, it says spare parts, but I don't understand that. How is that spare parts? I think they haven't gotten the labels printed yet. Okay. So, this just goes on the top. So I'll just go ahead and set that up. Ooh, that's tight. That is very tight. Okay, so getting the Z-axis plugs in looks like it's going to be a bit of an adventure. See how we go there. They should have mounted the motors facing another direction. I'll give it my best shot. I might need to get a pair of pliers. Just give me 1 second. I have tools. It's really good. I have tools I can actually access. Streamlabs sucks. Yeah, it is a little bit iffy. I apologize if you did send something through and it didn't show. Let me have a quick look. Nope. Nothing that's come through. Basically, I don't think it allows audio tracks to be played or stuff like that. But that wouldn't really fit the stream. What else we got? Check the packaging for the missing knob. Yeah, it's probably in there somewhere, I would say. Yep, it's down in the box. It just came off in shipping. That's usual. Couriers break printers, in my experience. And of course, people are messaging me like crazy on Facebook, so I'm going to have to turn it off. Oh, come on.
Keep up the great work, Angus. Your work really helped the 3D community.
Thanks, Nathan. I really appreciate it. These plugs are difficult to get in. Okay, next. They've just taped them. Oh, difficult. Just entertain yourself while I do this. And this phone can go somewhere else because people keep fucking doing the Facebooks. Come on. Alright, this is going to have to change, Creality. This is not okay. This is not okay. Oh my god. This is almost impossible. I'm going to break my fingers off doing this. I can't get it in. I can't get that plug in. There's no way to access it. It's like come around the other side. was so difficult. And then the limit switch is just as bad. Okay, that's right. Okay, that's going to have to change. That is so hard to do. I don't know why they haven't mounted the motors 90 degrees so you can do it from the back. I have no idea why they've done that. Bad Creality. Naughty. Oh dear. Sorry about that. Maybe a little bit frustrating. Yeah, the bed can't get out of the way. It's just always going to be in the way. But that's fine. I should now be able to tip it on its side and get these screws in theory. Also, true to form, I'm getting a cold, so my throat is pretty sore. Alright. So I want to be careful I don't damage this ribbon cable which runs all the power and stuff to the extruders. So let's tip this on its side. Okay. Wow, this isn't dodgy at all. Huh? So this magically has to not fall into the machine and get all the way up to the top.
Hey man, congrats on 300k. Your videos having been indispensable to me.
Oh, thanks, dude.
I'm only halfway through your mesh mixer and fusion tutorials.
Thanks,
And
Theory.
I'm already making tons of practical stuff thanks to you. Looking forward to more design videos.
Oh, thanks, man. I really appreciate it. This is really hard, guys. Now it's plugged in. I don't want to damage it. I'm just going to see if I can get an Allen key with like a lock in it, because essentially what's happening is the sheet metal is quite thick and there's a big cavity. So if this goes in and it falls off the Allen key, it's going to be lost. So give me 1 minute to find a Allen key that works. Right, so what I might have to do is do it from underneath like that, I'm thinking. Because I can't do it, if I do it like this and it falls off, I'm done. Okay. So far, not the most user-friendly setup compared to other printers I've tried. I'm hoping they'll make this easier. Because a loose bolt inside the electronics is not great. But hopefully once I just get a few threads in, it should just work. You can't really see what I'm doing, I apologize. I'm screwing the bolt in from the underside of the machine, that's why I have it on the edge of the table. That seems to have worked. I think that worked. Okay, let's try the other side. My chat's decided to not show everyone. People have been talking. Hey Joel, welcome. If this falls off the table, I'll be sad, and it will be all my fault. But also their fault for making it difficult. This is an $800 3D printer. It is not cheap. Yeah, you guys are right. You can put like duct tape or like a thin bit of plastic around the top of the Allen key to lock it in place. That's definitely possible. This seems to be working. Hey Ozzy, thanks.
Here's some beer money. Sounds like you're gonna need it.
I'm Australian. I always need beer money. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Lots of birds outside. Yeah. So where we live is very rich in bird life. It's very nice.
Space unicorn soaring through the stars, delivering the rainbows all around the world.
What the heck? 3D printer noob. 3D printing noob. Oh my god. Or 3D PN. I'm not sure. Not sure who you are actually. Thank you though. Okay. So we've got one bolt left. Let's tip this on the side. So if I show you the close up, go down like this. There we go. So see these holes here? The screw goes that far into them. And if that happens inside, that's when Angus cries. Because there's no conceivable way of getting it out. So I've already put one in here. So I need to put one in here. So that's why I couldn't use a ball end Allen key, because it would have just fallen off. I now need to go watch Space Unicorn. I clearly do. 3D printing nerd, I should have a CRX soon. I hope I don't have to be to do 3D printed gymnastics to assemble it. You will. This has definitely been a bit of gymnastics to get this thing going. Okay, it's good. Alright. I think that's good. I think the Stream Deck keeps dying. I think I'm running an old Windows 7 machine that's been updated, and all the USB ports are inundated. Like every USB port is used, including a spare PCIe USB 3 card to get the camera here working. So yeah, the Stream Deck keeps dying. Can I move or turn off the donation graphic? Nope, I will not, because it's a way of saying thank you to people who donate. So I can move it across, I suppose.
Doesn't mean see how fast it hits the floor.
Let's do that. Thanks, Mr. Z. Yeah. I'm hoping not to drop this. It's huge. It's a giant machine. All right. So, guys, if you're just joining me, welcome. My name is Angus, and this is Maker's Muse Live, and this is the CRX from Creality. I've just gotten it together. So it's a massive new machine from the massive Chinese manufacturer. 300 by 300 by 400 millimeters on the build. It's huge. It's a big machine. So we just got the bolts together. The Stream Deck is dead. RIP. And hopefully the stream still works. So yeah, it does look a bit like the D9 from Wanhao, and I suppose they've probably taken a lot of design cues from that. The D9's got the enclosed base, but it's got different verticals. This has got the same sort of CR10 V slot you might be used to. But dual extruders on a very unusual, extremely loose print head. I'm hoping that's fixable. So I'm going to go ahead and plug it in. I am going to assume they've made it ready for Australian power. Let's find out, I suppose. There's my plugs. Plugs. We are spoiled. Remember when 3D printers used to take a week to assemble? Yeah, I remember that. I also remember when 3D printers would be assembled and they wouldn't work. Which still happens, sadly. Okay, got some power. Now the danger here is if this is like a short or something, it's on the same thing, same power outlet as everything else in the house. In the workshop, because it's a garage. So if I disappear suddenly, it's because this had a short. Just saying. Okay, you guys ready? It played music. Oh, they shit me, it's all in Chinese. Oh no. Oh dear.
Glad you kept the zombie. He is so cute.
Oh, I love the zombie so much. I'm never gonna change it. Alright. I didn't think this through. Let me just grab an extension lead. This cable's way too short. Oh no. Alright. We don't really need that light. Professional streamer doing professional things on the stream. Okay, just gonna swap that cable out.
Congrats on hitting 300k, Jacob.
Jacob! Thanks, Jean-Francois. I really appreciate it. Oh man, I can't believe a company fell for it. For those who don't know, someone's trying to impersonate Maker's Muse to get companies to send them printers. Except they live in England, not Australia, and unfortunately, one poor Korean company fell for it. I mean, it's really not difficult to find out where I actually live, so it's not my fault. It's just frustrating. Anyway, let's have a look at this. So this is the CRX, and let's turn him back on. That camera sucks. It cannot focus on anything. There you go. Block the glare out. So it's all in Chinese. It makes a phone sound. Alright. There we go. I've used these menus so many times I know where the English translation, English changes. So, I can't believe it makes phone sounds. Oh no. Oh dear. Okay, so let's try homing it, shall we? Alright. Probably need this plugged in, eh? My bad.
Now you have twice as much.
Thanks, Knack. Okay, let's get this plugged in. So, what that would indicate to me is this machine uses normally closed limit switches, which is good because when it tried to home then, it didn't crash into the limit switch, which is good. Because if the limit switch was unplugged for the gantry, which means for the y-axis, it would have just, if it was normally open, so when it touches it, closes it, it would have just kept trying to grind against it. But it didn't, which is excellent. There we go. Gonna move that down as well. There we go. Is that the new Windows update? Creality by Samsung. Samsung rules China. It's crazy, actually. They funded a whole robot combat event. This sticker's terrible, so I'm just going to peel that off. Yeah, there you go. Right. So clearly the print head's wobbly. That needs to be fixed. I'll just turn it off again. That's way loose, but that should be easily fixable by just rotating the rollers. The bed's good, nice and tight. We are missing one of the print leveling screws, which is this one here. So we'll just attach that. The bed leveling knobs are huge. Yes, they are. That's the new Creality speciality, is giant bed leveling knobs. Except getting them on is a nightmare. I'll do that later. Okay. So I'm going to move the gantry up, and then I'm going to tighten up that extruder head and see if we can't extrude some plastic. It did come with film. That's gonna get tight. That's gonna get old so fast. It did come with filament holders, spool holders, which sit like at the top and look really weird. I don't know if I'm gonna run the machine like that. I'll be completely honest, but we'll see what happens. So we will rehome. Mechanically though, it's very similar to other printers like the CR10, CR10 Mini. Very similar design, they've just added some sheet metal. That does make it more expensive. So now what we're going to do is move the Z up. Probably shouldn't press it too many times, it'll crash into the top. I can't believe it sounds like a phone. Why would you choose that sound? Oh no. Is there a mute button? Good question. I will try to find that. Alright. I don't know how high it's going to try to go. Probably quite high. I might just have to turn it off. I guess it spooled all those commands and it's now not listening to me. Well, if it gets too high, I'll turn it off. Are those DTMF tones? I have no idea. There we go. Excellent. Okay. So, it came with a little spanner. And, being an Angus stream, I put it down somewhere. I'm not sure where. Oh, there. Under the box, of course. It's dialing China. It's dialing home, like it's connecting to the network. And phoning home.
Thanks for making 3D printing fun.
Oh, thanks.
Smiley face.
Thanks, Bulldog. Smiley face. Much appreciated, man. Alright, let's see if I can get this tightened up. So the eccentric nut would be the bottom one. Yep, it's there. It's covered in some fluff. That's fine, whatever. There we go. That was pretty easy. Cool. Well, that's tight. Don't forget that, as I said, the table wobbles. The machine itself is very rigid. Cool. Alright, let's try preheating. So, see how we go. Taco delivery service, how may we help you? My 3D printer keeps calling you. So, it says refuel, where the filament loading option is. Refuel the printer. So, temperature presets. Let's do it to PLA. So, they've put a lot of effort into the screen. I don't know if any of you guys can identify it, if I just go back to another close-up. I don't know if any of you can identify where this screen comes from, if it's been used by other manufacturers, but I haven't seen this on any printer before. I think they've been spending a lot of time developing this. So it's preheating. It's going to heat up the hot end, definitely a single hot end, to 195 and the bed to 45. Just catching up with the chat. Discord link expired? Possibly. Yeah, sorry about that. If you like Shivel, by all means, feel free to dump it to get Discord chat link in the chat if you're able to. I'm not sure. Either way, this is fun. This is fine. Hi from Honduras. Welcome, Marlon. Thank you very much for joining. Pour some E85 on the hot end. It's hard to get E85 in Australia, actually. I don't see it very often. We have E10 everywhere, and then, of course, the overpriced premium. I was actually watching, to be on a completely different topic, the whole Dieselgate thing with Volkswagen. You can still buy those cars here in Australia. They're everywhere. The Jettas and all that. The ones that were recalled in America, and you took them back. No, they're still driving around here. Australia doesn't really care very much about, pollution, it seems. There is an open 3D printer that calls filament food. That's kind of cute. I like the idea of feeding a printer. Alright, so it says heating is done. Let's grab some of that filament. What looks better on camera? Yellow or red? What do you guys reckon? Yellow or red? What would you rather? I'm going to do one color to start with. Choose now. But is it square? Probably not. I haven't checked to see if the axes are actually lined up. This is a dual stepper motor system, so with 2 lead screws, there's a possibility that they're skewed. I don't know. I'll find out. While you're deciding amongst yourselves, I'm going to try to get this bloody thing back in place. Come on. There we go. So good practice with leveling beds is to make them nice and low to start with. And to help me rotate the leveling screws, I'm actually pushing the bed down on the springs and then just letting it spin. It's a really nice, quick way to get the bed lower. That is warming up quite nicely though. Ivan Miranda red. The wall's yellowish. Yeah, okay. Let's go with red. Not a big fan of yellow filament. It's actually probably one of my least favorite colors. Sorry if you like yellow. Ivan Miranda would be proud. The green behind me, that is a nice green. Unfortunately, that's a PETG filament, which is different to PLA. So it melts at a different temperature. It's a little bit harder to print with. So we'll just go with this. Won't load it onto a spool holder as yet. Just cut the end off. That was not a neat cut. The trick with Bowden hot ends is you want a nice sharp point to feed it through cleanly. Color hater. Make sure the X-axis wheels are tight. I've already checked that, thank you. So I don't know what's like 1 or 2. So let's just try this one and see where we go from there. The Bowden tube is definitely it's a bit tight. Let's rotate this around a little bit. Spin it around like that. There you go. So I'm just feeding this in. Looking at the hot end, they've clearly tested this machine quite a lot. There is a lot of filament burnt onto it. They have been testing this machine for some time. So this is definitely, I would say, a prototype slash tested, possibly cherry-picked machine. Which is a bit of an issue sometimes, I'll be honest. You look at all that gunk. I mean, that's all burnt filament from the hot end. They have been testing the crap out of this. But, look, I just try to be transparent with you guys. Things change, and what I experience may be very different to what you experience. I just try to give you a first look. Right, the gantry isn't square with the base, though. Yeah, I'm not sure either, so I'm going to do a level now. So let me just home it, and I'll see how far they are from each side. Don't worry, all the issues you run into will be fixed in the next version. Legit, that's what they say. It's just frustrating. Normally you don't do this, by the way. Normally you don't let filament unspool, but I kind of know what I'm doing. Let's just go with that. It's no longer cherry-picked after your Australian couriers got it though. Yes, that's true. I have received machines that have been exploded by couriers, but the ones in this area now are pretty good. They know me by name. They know that they can leave packages safely around the corner. Before, when I was sort of in more in the Sydney CBD, they'd just wreck everything. They just did not care. Here, they take a bit more care, because I don't think people get packages like this very often here. Yeah, I'm a bit of an oddity. Everyone's at work. That's why it's nice and quiet on a Tuesday. Did you put this together in an hour? It came pretty much assembled. Let's be real. I put 4 screws in. And I've been waffling most of the rest of the time. Okay. Okay, so motor is off. Yeah, the gantry... it actually looks pretty square. I'm okay with that. They're loose though. Ugh. Okay, well, the lead screw nuts are loose. I am a time traveller. All Australians... Actually, no, didn't you know that Australians don't exist? We're actually actors. And we're paid by the government to pretend that there's another side of the planet. Sorry, did I say side? No, sorry, I didn't mean that. This is not great. These are loose. I'm wondering if they made them loose for a reason. Is the side loose? They are also quite loose. Yeah. Alright, so it's probably not perfectly level, but it seems to be stabilizing quite nicely. Now I've tightened that up. So let's just do a quick bed level. With, let's use this convenient guarantee card. Let's use that for bed leveling. Okay. I am having to extend this bed way more than I should. That's terrible. That's about to fall off, which probably explains why it fell off in the box. So the nozzle's too far away from the bed to be comfortable. I'm going to see if I can move the limit switch down a tiny bit, because that's no bueno. That's no good. Okay, I need another Allen key to do that. Said lead screws are a bit wobbly, yeah. Little bit. I mean, when they're that long, it's kind of half the course. It's not ideal. Okay. Right, so what I've just done is I've adjusted the Z-axis limit switch down. It doesn't look like it's meant to do that, but I've just done it anyway, because these springs do not reach the nozzle comfortably. So I'm going to rehome and re-level, because it's better to have a lot of tension on the springs rather than let them all the way out, because then the bed kind of bounces. It's not very nice. So let's just do that again. Oh, that can happen. Now what's it hitting? Oh no, don't tell me. I think they've boxed themselves into a corner, because now it's touching on this side. That sucks. That is kind of crap. Okay, fine. That's So, moving the limit switch down makes this side touch the motor mount, which means it can't go any further. That's a bit lame. How about that? That's a little bit of a compromise, perhaps. Yeah, right. Breaks another printer. Yeah. They're all different, that's the problem. You don't know what's going to happen. Okay. That is like literally 0.5 millimeter away from touching, but if that's what I need to do to get it level, then that's what I need to do. So far though, not madly impressed with the bed leveling. Like, I'm letting these springs out a lot. Almost to their full extent, actually. Okay, that's pretty good. They're also the same limit switches that the Ender 3 had, and I found them to be pretty unreliable in terms of repeatability. So I'm not sure if I'm going to end up swapping them out. Also, these metal clips are really sharp. I'm literally about to cut myself on them. Yeah, like that's about to fall off. That So I'm not sure what springs they've used, but they are not, like, they're compression springs, but they don't have much compression room. It's really strange. Okay. Shivel's saying I'm tempted to replace my Ender 3 end stops with optical ones. Yeah, optical would be really nice. Laserman, I hoped it would come with an automatic bed level for the money. Yes, it really should for $800, absolutely. They need to include some sort of bed leveling in this. This is not okay. They've done a lot of good things, absolutely can respect them for that, but this is not the experience you expect. Like it just needs. I tightened it up even further. Right, that's gonna have to do. This is taking way too long. So Laserman saying the springs on my S5 were the same. I ended up putting spacers in, removing the springs, and using an automatic bed leveling. That's probably the best way to do it. They're just a hack. I mean, spring-loaded beds with 4 points of adjustment. It never was a good idea. Let me just see if actually the plates. Ooh, okay. That's touching now. Great. That wasn't touching before. Just left a line in it. So how can I level against paper and then have it touch? What the fuck?
Keep up the awesome work, and we all appreciate the honest reviews.
Thanks, man. I am the only one, Yogo. You're only Yogo. Appreciate it. Yeah, I will be always honest with you guys. It's just not worth it. Like, where do you get if you do a dishonest review? Nowhere. The manufacturer wins, and then I lose your respect and trust, and then it's worthless. It's no point. That looks pretty good. Okay, I'm going to load filament into the other side because I just realized I don't know what the G-code's going to use. I don't know if it's going to use the left or the right extruder. So we'll do that. And then we'll try doing a demo print. That's what happens when you unscrew the other 3 screws, the whole bed raises more. Yeah, exactly. It's a terrible way to leveling. It's really tedious. Okay. Come on. Come on. Oh, God. It will not go in. This is terrible. There, thank you. Jesus. Okay, that'll have to do. I am kind of just rushing it at this point. So, micro SD card. Not a big fan. Not a big fan, but it's what they've gone with. A machine this big is not great. But that means it's running the same control board as all the other printers that they've got. Okay. Does it have a demo file? Let me just try turning it off and on. If they haven't shipped this with a demo file, I'm going to be a bit pissed. Because I have no idea what the parameters are for slicing on this. will the extruder have two different offsets? No, it's a single nozzle. So it's two extruders, one nozzle. It's like one of those mixing ones. Or that's a clone of the Purge one. I'm not sure exactly what they're doing. But I definitely don't have any parameters for it. So we'll see. Oh, you... Seriously? I don't think there's anything on this SD card. Let me just check on the main PC. Thanks, Ivan. Install software USB driver model test file STL test. There's some G code on here. Absolutely, is one test G code. Yeah. Right. Unless there's a way I need to initialize it that I haven't found. Give me one moment. Okay, let's go with a close up. Okay, so home it again. Okay, that's fine. Oh, no. Is that the thing? What? What was that? What? What the heck? Possibly what's happening is it's not showing Chinese characters in the English version. I'm going to flick back to Chinese language and see if that's the problem. Try restarting it in Chinese. Refresh the card directory listing after insert. I don't know how. That's preheating. Chuck it back into English. Does anyone have any ideas? Rename the files. Okay, let's try that. Let's give that a go. USB slot. What's going on now? USB slot's the one you try once because it's wrong, and then the second time's wrong, and then the third time's you had it right the first time. Okay, fine. I'll have a quick look at the instructions. Apologies for the delay. Again, I said this would be completely unknown. For first printing, page 9. Okay. Right. Yeah, it should just show up. So it's not. So the SD card might be buggered. So what I'm going to do is find the code. Copy. So I don't think it lets you see into directories properly. So let's rename it to whatever. Test something something. And we'll give that a go. Input the code manually. I don't know what to slice, how to slice for this printer. You don't just go in blind on stream with a dual extrusion single nozzle machine. Oh wait, I did. Okay, there we go. So we have something. So what happened is it's not showing directories. So it was in a folder, it wasn't showing the folder. You'd think they'd test this. Okay. Let's give it a shot. It's warming up. Make this beast face you a bit better. There you go. That's a little bit better. Oh, there's so much crap on the floor. Right. Is the folder name Chinese? Yeah, I think it was. And the G code was Chinese. But I've renamed it and it's fine. So a fancier version of the Cocoon Create Touch, I would say exactly the same. This has some slightly nicer sounds, I suppose, but Cocoon Create Touch is a really good machine for the price, absolutely. I have no idea how loud this printer is going to be as well. I do apologize. How heavy is it? Very heavy. This is a chunky machine. Definitely the heaviest i3 I've ever played with. Yeah. Place your bets on what color it's going to start printing with. Yellow or red? I don't know. It might do both. Might chuck them on some spool holders. At least give it some sort of a chance. I know you don't like doing that, but it's fine. Good old spools. This always happens when it's live. It's because when you wind it like this, it tangles it, twists it. There you go. That's fine. You can just sit there. Did it come with spool holders? Yes, but they sit on top, and I hate top spool holders, and they'd be out of frame, and they also make it really awkward for me to work with. Alright, it's going to do a thing. Ooh. Nothing's coming out. I think I probably didn't do something right. didn't quite work. Yes.
Congratulations on 300k subscribers. Do you plan on making a video about sheet metal design and best practices?
Thanks, Mechanically. I don't know. I'm not a huge expert in sheet metal design. I've done it before, but I've never gotten anything I've designed, like, manufactured in mass. So, something to think about. I would like to design a printer one day. I always say that. Okay, well that failed horribly. I did a weird, like, extrusion thing beforehand, so it says, press and hold the extrusion clip, insert the filament into the inlet to the position... What? Right. It doesn't want them all the way into the hot end, it wants them, like, there. Yeah. Ice Gecko has no idea what's going on. Yeah, this isn't my main channel, dude. Appreciate it, though. Alright, there we go. So I'll try that again with just this, and I'll insert it up to that point that it said to do it to, I suppose. And we'll try it again. And also the middle, the level's wrong again. It's too far away, I can see that. Yeah, anyway, let's try that. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to work. Did they use ABS from the factory and now the hot end isn't hot enough to clean it? I doubt they used ABS. It was coming out before. I just don't think I loaded it properly. Because I think from the outset, I think this is a clone or similar design to the that one, the Purge multi-material, except it's just 2 in. So I think it pushes them in, then withdraws them, and pushes them, withdraw them, but there's no routine to do it properly like the Purge one, where it has like a full step-by-step wizard of, okay, it's going to pull it in, withdraw it, pull it in, withdraw it, like there's a whole wizard. This doesn't have that. So it's very much more manual, and we'll see if it works or not. I don't know. I will get it going. But I mean, to be fair, this is probably the last, like, early access I will ever do on a printer like this, because it doesn't, like, if this is incorrect and you guys get something different, like I said in my video, it just doesn't help anyone, and it wastes my time, it wastes your time. I would much rather companies spend a lot of time properly testing things. And like with the Obsidian, the Kodama Obsidian, that was like a machine made completely from scratch. It was a complete functional prototype and doesn't at all represent what might eventually come from that campaign. So it's been a learning curve, and I really appreciate your guys' support for the channel, but I just can't get behind this sort of practice. I just want machines as tools. I get it that they're a hobby for some people, but I just want them as a tool. I want them to just work. Okay. Again, there's like nothing coming out. I just like forced it out. Just grabbed the extruder gear and just jammed it down. Okay, I see what's going on. All right. So what it was doing is it was pushing it forward and then a tiny retract and it started printing. So yes, it needs to be a little bit behind, but I had it a bit too far behind, so it wasn't printing when it started. But now it is printing. Wow, that's going to be really great for a newcomer. They need to make that more reliable, 100%. Anyway, it is doing something. Sound. I do apologize if the printer is too loud. Okay. Yeah, it's not that bad. It seems to be working. I don't know what the test file is. No idea. I guess we'll find out. Give you a nice sort of close up here. You can see it's doing the two cubes, I suppose. Wow, this camera is terrible. So glad I actually got the main, like a real camera for streaming now. Anyway, so far it's just yellow. I don't know what it's going to do. Yeah, yellow. Print me a beer. Copper, Dolphin, Court Angus. Yeah, welcome. You didn't miss much. So if you're just jumping in, guys, welcome. My name is Angus from Muse, and this is the Creality CRX. It's their latest 3D printer, latest and greatest, and most expensive, apart from like some huge stupid thing. It's their most advanced printer, supposedly. But the assembly isn't too difficult. It was just 4 screws and some very hard to access plugs, which have now been plugged in. But the thing about this machine is it's dual extruder, single nozzle, and it has like a Y connector to feed in the filaments. So far we've been struggling to actually get it to do anything. Now it's doing the demo file that was on the SD card. I have no idea how long this demo file is going to take. I'm going to let it run. This is just as new to me as it is to you. I've literally never touched this machine till about an hour ago. So ask your questions in the chat, and thank you to all of you who have been saying congratulations on the 300k. For those who don't know, I did a video on these objects called sphericons over on the main Makers Muse channel, and that video went nuts. Still going nuts. And it pushed the channel just over to 300k, so thank you so much for jumping in. If this is your first time, welcome. Quad cubes. Yes, it apparently is... Oh, here we go. We're doing a different color. So it's pulling in the red now. Oh my god. Alright, so it's going to have to do a color change purge block. This might actually work, guys. It might actually work. Potentially on the screen, it would be like 1, because it's the first layer still. Quad dual yellow color print. Yeah, it looks like it. Yes, I don't know why they called it the CRX, because in Roman numerals, X is 10. So it's like the CR10, but it's not. It's different. It's the same build volume as the CR10. It's 300, 300, 400 millimeters. But it is very different, clearly. But I don't know. I'm on the fence as to its operation so far. It's very new, and they have shipped me a very early machine because there's like a hole drilled in the side of it, which has clearly been done recently and roughly to get it to work. And they clearly tested it because the hot end had lots of filament on it. But I really do have high hopes for Creality. They're doing things that other Chinese manufacturers are not. They're actually trying new things. So I do wish them the best. wish it was a little bit more polished. Jetto, any idea of what slicer they use to make the purge block? I don't know. Cura is what's recommended in the instructions, so I suppose that's what they used, but I'll have to investigate. Right, that's a big purge block. It's already red. It did not need to do that much of a purge block. It was like red straight away. Wow. Alright. Ooh. It's doing like a little cross sort of thing. It's kind of going between the yellow. Anyway, we'll see what happens. How many newcomers are going to spend $800 on their first 3D printer? Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I spent $1,300 on my first 3D printer. Hey, thanks, Rod. Really appreciate it. Yeah, like, I mean, price performance has definitely become better. But I mean, I spent $1,500 on my first 3D printer. And I don't regret it. It saved me money over a semester of buying prints. Well, paying for prints from the university workshop from the Stratasys systems, which were just priced on the consumables, and the consumables were like a few $100s per print. Absolutely nuts. And yes, someone did mention they have like a $8,000 printer. Yeah, they do have some industrial level ones. But this is like their first, I guess, prosumer attempt. It's bridging the gap. I quite like it. Can the volume purge be adjusted? Yes, it can definitely be adjusted. It would be a slicer thing though. So what you're seeing now, for those who are new to 3D printing, 3D printers take a sort of programming code which is called G code, and it's essentially a system of coordinates. So when you run a 3D printer, this is a dumb machine. It has no idea. It just has X, it has X, Y, and Z or Z axes. So 3 axes, and then it just takes commands to tell you where to move it and how much filament to extrude. And all of that's done separately using a program called a slicer. And that's where you get your 3D model, and the slicer will convert the file into the G code. So you tell it what size purge block to do in the slicer, and you would definitely be able to tweak that. But to be honest, it's at least twice as big as it needs to be, just looking at it. I am a little bit excited, tentatively excited looking at this, guys. It does seem to be working. Where is the one and only Lady Muse? She is occupying herself doing what Lady Muse does. She's doing her illustrations and such recently, which is really good. She does help on streams a lot though, behind the scenes. Why not send the purge to infill? Good question, Johnny just asked. A lot of slicers haven't been advanced enough to do that. Could you imagine if you're going from like a black to a white to a black to a white? The purge would be quite large. So a 3D print needs to have the right amount of calculated infill to know that by the time it's done the infill, it has fully purged. That's not always the case. In this case, it'll probably be fine. But also you have to remember that some filaments aren't fully opaque. They're a little bit translucent. So if you have like an internal purge of a different color, it might be visible on the outside. So yes, it's definitely something that's being worked on. There's a company, let's do another color change. There's a company called Palette, who do the Palette Plus, which is a machine that takes 4 filaments in, and they have their own software, which lets you now, in the latest version, change to do infill that does the purge as well. I do need to work on it more, because they sent me one, but it's very hard to set up. Will I test PVA or PLA? Oh, okay, combination. So, maybe. I have never been a fan of PVA supports, to be honest, because the water moisture absorption is so high. I don't actually have any. I have so many types of filaments in this room, but I don't have any PVA. I guess I could get hold of some. I just break supports off. I've always just been a guy that just is okay with same material breakaway supports. But yeah, it is what it is. I'll try to get hold of some and do some proper support to support 3D prints with dual supports. So supports you can dissolve away. Is that the English flag? It's, well, maybe. It's a cross with some yellow squares. I guess it could have been a yellow cross with red squares depending on what I loaded in. So it's interesting to see the purge from red to yellow needed that whole block just then. Whereas the purge from yellow to red didn't need the whole block. It's marketed as dual color, not dual material. Yes, true. But if you have similar extrusion temperatures, you can feed them through the same nozzle in the same way. The problem with PVA is it melts at a much lower temperature to even to PLA. It's like 130 to 150. Like it's quite low sometimes. Maybe 180 if you want to push it. So you'd be like pushing the upper edge of the temperature you want for PVA and the lower that you want for PLA. So it's hard to dial in with one nozzle. It is possible. I just don't do that very often for my prints. Yeah. So 3D Maker Kit, yes, it is current setup. It does indeed need purge blocks because the nozzles, it's only one nozzle with two colors going in. So it's like the Prusa multi-material. It needs to purge the previous color. Oh, I wish I wasn't getting a sore throat. Yeah, so Anthony's commenting on the PLA PVA combination, saying that even with the PLA combination, it burns the PVA. That's the problem I've experienced. There is companies bringing out modified PVAs with a higher melting temperature and lower moisture absorption. I just haven't been bold enough to try them. E3D do all sorts of cool things. They got a whole range of support filaments, and like they probably know what they're doing. Hey, Creality 3D just subscribed. Welcome. This is your machine. Thanks for watching. We've just got it working. A few small things that I wasn't impressed with, but overall, it's a very nice machine. I really do quite like it. I really like the move to a new print bed. Nice touch screen. And it's working well. We got it working well. Zone Star M8R2 has the same nozzle. Yeah, they did get in touch with me as well. I did say no because I had too many commitments, but I think Devin over at Make Anything has a Zone Star that he got sent. So if you're looking to compare notes, go check out Devin. I think he posted some pictures on Twitter with his experience. I think it got damaged in shipping. Last time I saw, I think he had some issues with shipping damage. Is this a single axis Z-axis motor? No, it's not. There is two on both sides. I did try to get them as level as possible. It's not ideal. I am streaming, so a little bit distracted. But we got two lead screws here and two extruders running through. It's an E3D style hot end with a dual input. I don't know if it's genuine or not. I have no idea. Does look nicely machined. Looks very nicely machined. Plot twist, Creality 3D is Naomi Wu. No, she is their community advocate and support. She does good work, but she is she is definitely her own entity. Just noticing as well, they've actually gone to the effort to put zip ties around the PTFE couplers, which really locks them into place and stops them moving. That's actually something that I didn't consider, and I should actually do on my other printers, the other Ender 3 and such, Bowden style extruders, because that helps stop that PTFE tube moving. So that's a good tip. Something I really need to do on my machines. Brett, quick, you have to print something around 100mm cube with a quality finish. Which printer do you grab? Um, probably the Cetus. I know, everyone's like, why do you love the Cetus so much? It's Wi-Fi, it's quick, it's fast, it's quiet, and it has a good print quality. I just send PLA prints to it and wake up to prints. Well, it seems to be working pretty good. I don't know how long I'll leave this going, but I'm game to stay here for as long as you guys are keen. Is the print surface a perforated vinyl sticker? It's not vinyl. So the print surface is glass on this. It's different to the build tack style surfaces that they've used before. So it's glass, but it's got a printed texture on it, which, I mean, the only way I could probably describe it is kind of like how you look at like buses and they've got advertising, and the advertising has small holes so you can see out of the bus. It's like that. It's little tiny a grid of dots, little perforations on the surface of that print, but it just seems to help stuff stick really well. It works good. It works really good. So Anycubic have been doing that for a long time. It's on their Ultra base on the Anycubic Mega, but it seems to be Creality's adopted it now as well, and JG Aurora have it on their printers too. Shibble. I just want one. You have enough printers, man. You don't want any more printers. You just want stuff to... Yeah, you got the Ender 3, I guess. Is that the glass like the A5? Yes, exactly the same. Exactly the same type of print surface as the A5. Laserman, does the extruder work with ABS, PETG, or Flex? It will work. It'll work with rigid filaments. A Bowden style extruder does not like Flex. If you've tried any Bowden style with flexible filaments at a 1.75mm diameter, yeah, not fun. Not a fun experience. So it will probably be fine with ABS. PETG might be a little stringy. I don't know. The retraction is what would concern me. This is an example of PETG because it has a higher melting point than PLA, but a lower glass transition temperature, so it might get a little bit sort of stringy and spongy. I don't know if that's the right word. Soft, I guess. And it might stop it withdrawing and refeeding in properly. I think ABS will be fine. However, that doesn't stop the issue that ABS warps, so you probably want to have an enclosure, because the heat from this heat bed, it's hot, but the heat's only like on the surface. If you go up to here, it's gone. It's dissipated. So my biggest complaint about i3s is people are like, I print ABS on my i3. It's like, that's great. Have you tried printing like a tall ABS print? Even if you get it to stick, it's going to delaminate and tear apart higher up. Unless, of course, you put it in an enclosure with a higher ambient temperature to keep it Thanks, man. I wouldn't order anything on pre-order, to be completely frank with you. And go watch my video on the Anycubic Photon if you're interested in resin printers. I'll be frank with you guys. I have a flat-out no policy for any resin printers on the channel at this point in time into the immediate future, because I don't think the safety aspects are being taken seriously. I know people are like, oh, Angus is like being a baby about safety. Look, I don't want to be the test guinea pig to find out in a few years that we've been like, like asbestos was with these resin printers, because no one really knows what's in them, what it does to on a long period of time, and they make a very strong smell, which really does affect me. So I personally wouldn't go with resin unless you really need the quality, because they're just so different. Like PLA is polylactic acid. It's made from cornstarch. I mean, I'm sure they add some stuff to it, but I mean, I can't smell this at all. Resin printer, you fire it up and it stinks the whole room out. So yeah, I'm pretty against resin printers unless they are in an industrial environment and really needed for the quality. How hot do I have the bed for PETG? Or are you asking Brett? But I'll tell you, I usually heat the bed to 70 degrees C for PETG. That's probably a little high, but it does seem to make it stick really well. Just when you're printing with PETG, guys, make sure the bed cools completely before you pull the part off, because We've lost our purge block. Great. Yeah, see what I mean about warping? That first layer wasn't quite close enough. So now we've lost the purge. Even PLA can warp when the room's cold enough. It's freezing in here. So I guess this is a good opportunity to test the power outage if it does have power recovery, because we've lost our purge block and it's not going to recover from that. So let's try that. So it says still print the same file, yes or no. So if I hit yes, quick, glue the purge block back down. Yeah, it's a shame. It just wasn't close enough. That's a bed level issue, but the rest of it seems to be okay. But I was going to see if it recovers. Did I wipe the print bed down before starting? No, I didn't. That's probably something I should have done. As soon as you touch these surfaces, they get oil and stuff on them. But what I'll do is I'll just see if this recovers, and then I think at this point we know it works. We know it does dual color. I'll probably finish up with you guys, and we'll probably let this run, and then I'll post some pictures on Twitter of it finished, if it does finish. Alright, well it did... Oh, that's a bit nasty. So the recovery doesn't quite work as it should. It pushed the filament really hard down as it came across. Yeah. That's fine. Okay. So they have some tuning to do on the recovery, because it just... I mean, that's going to ruin a print, doing that. But in terms of the print itself, it's pretty good. I mean, there's a few bits where the red snuck in. There you go. That's pretty good, really. Obviously, it's all lined up because it's the same nozzle. So yeah, I'd give it a 5 out of 10 for a dual color print. Well, I guess that's gonna do it, guys. I will just make this bed a little bit closer and kick off another print. Is there any other questions that you might have for me? Yeah, it came off too easily. The bed was too far away. But that's what I mean. Like, it was scraping before, and now it's too far. My concern is now that the print's being cancelled, the filament's in too far. So, I mean, does that mean you have to like reset it every time? I'm not too sure. So what I might just do is just make it a bit closer. What is this printer competing with? I guess dual color printers. So someone mentioned the new Zone Star. That's... Oh no. Classic Bowden. It's like, as soon as you stop a Bowden, it just dribbles out. So I'm gonna have to heat that up again. So there's a new Zone Star dual extruder single nozzle, and then of course it's competing with the Purge multi-material. There is the new version out, but that's far more expensive to get that kit. Anthony, what good is power outage recovery? If you're trying to maintain a bed temperature, it's not great. Better firmware, again, I'm sorry, the Purges have their problems, but at least the Mark III, if the temperatures have dropped quite a lot and you turn it back on, it does say, is the print actually fine? Are you sure you want to recover? Because, yes, as the temperature drops, the print surfaces they're using, like this or PEI, tend to self-release, which is good when the print's finished, but if it's failed halfway through and the power goes out, then you don't want to recover because it's not gonna work. So yeah, ideally you don't want to lose power. It's not perfect, but if it's like a quick off-on, you're fine. Like, you should be able to recover it as long as you're there. What's the Apple of 3D printers? There isn't really one. None of them just work, unfortunately. They all seem to have issues still. Even like Ultimakers, MakerBots, anything like $5,000, there isn't really anything that's perfect. I did test one called the Cubicon single, and the Cubicon, forgotten the name of it. Let's just go with the single. That was really quite good as a Korean machine. Automatic adjusting bed, like mechanically adjusting, really nice, but about $3,000 US and maybe 5,000 Australian. Definitely not very cheap. All right. Judging by the state of this hot end, I assume that prints have come loose quite often while they've been testing it. Okay. So let's see if I can just get this a little bit closer. Alright, let's rehome it. A UPS is much better than power cutoff in software. Yes, if you can afford just a cheap UPS, one that's for like a computer would be fine. That will get you through power brownouts. Absolutely. Okay, let's get this adjusted. Don't want to damage the print surface, that's why I'm being very tentative. It looks okay. I think the center might be a little bit lower, actually. Alright, let's try this one more time. I don't know if I should park it like a little bit above or just leave it all the way in. See, now it's too close on that side. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure that glass is flat. We'll see how we go. There should be a screw in the middle of the plate. See, except it's glass and it shouldn't actually be bent. I don't know. I'll get like a ruler against it after this. Yeah, see, that's it. That's it pulling the filament in. That seems alright. That's way too high. Yeah, okay. I'm going to kill it. This is clearly way out of level. I'll have to fix that. Sorry. It's completely wrong. It's too close there. It's too close, too far away here. I'll figure it out. I can't do it while streaming. So, there we go, guys. I will let you know on Twitter, at MakersMuse, how I go with this. It's way too fiddly to do, like, on this table. But I can't just keep trying. It's not working. So, again, thank you so much for your well wishes, and congratulations on the subscribers. I have no idea how Maker's Muse has done what it has, but thank you. If you're new to the channel, I very much do welcome you here. It's my aim to empower your creativity with 3D printing and technology. This has been the Creality CRX. The jury's still out on it. As I said, I wasn't 100% sure what would be going on. It's a dual color printer. It does dual color, but there's a few things that aren't very easy to use with it. The bed leveling is pretty nasty. Assembly was difficult, absolutely very difficult and tedious to get the bolts in. So I will see how we go. I'll update you with demo prints and tests as I go. See if we can get this print actually completed. And yeah, x-axis not parallel to the bed. That's probably what's wrong. I need to double check that with some rulers and figure out. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you again very shortly here on Maker's Muse, or in this case, Maker's Muse Live, in this new setup, which I've spent a lot of time getting set up, so I'm glad it worked. Alright, I need more pizza. Yes, I do. Absolutely. Cool. Alright, catch you later, guys. Bye.